It says I'm on the air, so I must be. What's up? How's everyone doing? How's it going? Someone give me a hell yes or a hell no on the sound. Does the sound good? Does the sound poop? Gonna pop over to the chat. I've already shared this sucker. I'm actually on time for once. And so far, it has not showed up on my screen. Well, what a bunch of bullshit. For those of you who are here, we're just getting started. So the technical part needs to take over, considering this isn't as accurate or as fun as used to be on blog TV, where I could actually have reliable openings. Me good? Sound is slightly poop. Uh-oh. Well, I think there's a little bit of something I could probably do about that. Hold on. Interrupt. Make a choice. Interrupt. 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 Come on.
Mittens, come on.
Come on. There you go. That may help a little bit with the noise, all things considered. Mine still isn't showing up. Why? I probably need to refresh. Do I need to refresh? I'm not even getting... Ah, there we are. I see myself leaving. That's awesome. That's a great thing to come back to. All right, well, we're going to get started here. I'm going to recalibrate and reposition all of this junk since I refreshed. Yeah, as long as you can still make out what I'm saying, that's fine. This is using my laptop, my wonderful laptop microphone and camera, so that's probably part of the reason why that sounds like crap. I don't think that that is exactly the best, because you definitely notice a sound quality drop between this and the videos that are shot with the actual camera. Probably a way that I could figure out how to reroute that and do all that, but I would need fancy cords and stuff that I don't think is actually on or available for this camera. So in the future, as in whenever I get a new camera, which I'm not sure when the hell that'll be. That'll be something that we'll probably try to look to upgrade. So for right now, we are kind of in this situation. It will probably sound a little bit better also whenever it gets to be a little bit cooler outside, considering I will not need to have the fan running. I would turn it off right now, but I can guarantee you that we would get very warm in here. As you probably tell, I have someone in the studio right here with me who's reading it, which is awesome. And no, it's not Mittens. Mittens is he's not literate, as far as I know.
Maybe he's like Chester from Vernicula.
That is a reference I don't get.
You never heard Vernicula?
No.
There's a book about a vampire rabbit.
I know it was a book about a vampire rabbit. You bought it.
And then there was a dog named Harold and a cat named Chester. And Chester read a lot of books.
I don't know if you just heard that, but apparently there's a book about a vampire rabbit, and there's a cat that read books. So maybe Mittens is a cat that reads books.
Vernicula is the name of the book.
Vernicula is the name of the... But there's enough books around this...
Deborah Howard.
Star.
Wah.
You're like my... What the hell is the guy's name on Kimmel? Or is it... what the hell is his name? The Spanish guy.
Oh, Guillermo?
Guillermo, yeah. You're like my Guillermo. Only you speak English.
I feel like Mr. Frank, but he's dead.
Whoops. All right, well, what is my girlfriend's name? Nunya, as in Nunya Business. Word. Her name is Faith. She's cool. She's all right. You know. Mittens can read. Anyway, so as you can see by the lovely title that is beneath my glorious face and my glorious Triptychon shirt, the theme, so to speak, is big releases, big news, and then there are two words at the end that probably seem pretty curious. They seem pretty curious. So Yo, CKN, when is CKN Fest and will Opeth be playing? Connor, if CKN Fest ever happened, Opeth would be the headliner of one of the stages on one of the nights. And they would be allowed to play a 4-hour set if they wanted. Holy crap, Fulton is here. Fulton's reviews are in here. If you love progressive music and music in general, that man is incredible. Fulton, I have great news that I'm about to get to, which will directly not only affect this channel, but will also affect the two of us. So I will make that announcement in just a moment whenever I get into the meat of this bullshit. I'm not sure how long we're running tonight. My goal is to be a little bit under an hour if I can, but I know that I love the yak, so that is probably that's probably just not going to happen. Have I ever been to Warped Tour? Asks Adam before we get started here. I will answer that real fast. I was at Warped Tour 1 year. It was 2009 whenever I went. I went with an ex-girlfriend of mine and one of the daughters of the family that she was currently residing at, because that freaking twat waffle could not remain at her own fucking house for longer than 6 months without either pissing someone off to the point that they wanted her to get the fuck out. Either that or just throwing a little baby, wah bitchy fit fest where she decided, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to go be a big, strong, independent woman and then crawl back into the fucking womb whenever shit got too hard. There's no bitterness there. I was there. We were there for probably about an hour.
RK?
Yes, RK. We were there for probably about an hour or so. We saw, I think, 2 or 3 bands, and then the little daughter of the family that she was staying with at that moment got heat exhaustion because it was 175 degrees outside. No, in reality, it was like 95. And, of course, my dumbass ex was not the type of person to keep money with her. That way, this younger girl of like 13 would have water and all the things that she would need, thinking that she's going to tough it out like a little, like a little Bonnie badass. So, yeah, based off of that exhaustion, we had to go to one of those tents that they had for folks that were overheated. And then after that, we just decided to leave, which pissed me the fuck off because A, I drove them there. So I probably could have just put my foot down. But 2, I was at Warped Tour, which sucked dick anyway. And 4, because 3 is a stupid number, I wanted to see Bad Religion, but that wasn't going to happen until way later, which meant that 2, I was going to have to remain at Warped Tour for a lot longer. And yes, even though that girl was 13 years old, she didn't have to worry about blood on the dance floor, because I don't think they were there that year, for one. And there was no Subway in the area, so she didn't have to worry about seeing Jared's $5 footlong. So just to throw that out there and sort of recycle the question, I've been to Warped Tour. I wouldn't do it again. I don't think Warped Tour is going to make it past next year between you and me. My favorite performance at Warped Tour 09, I have no fucking clue. I have no recollection of that show. Considering we only saw like 2 or 3 bands, and I really don't remember who the fuck they were. I'd probably have to look at an actual list of who was there, and it might come back to me. It might. I know that I think one of the 3 that we went to see at my ex's behest was Escape the Fate. I think. Don't take my word for that, because I don't remember off the top of my skull. I just remember that that was a day that could have easily been better spent masturbating. But all right. So they can apparently hear you talking shit. Whenever you talk shit, they can hear you just fine. I have someone here saying, we can hear your new girlfriend behind. Understand that you're talking shit about the old one. Lol. Hey, wasn't your girlfriend in the CKN Melee video with organic spelunking and Yoshi's ass? Yes. Yes, she was. That actually featured her. It featured a mutual friend of ours whose house I was actually at last night to play Cards Against Humanity, and a very, very old girlfriend of his.
What was that, Sasha?
That was Sasha, and then Char was there too.
Oh, okay.
So I was. It was Addison and myself and 3 chicks playing Melee, and that was like 2 houses ago, or like 2 apartments ago.
That was a learning house, right?
Yeah, so a lot changes among this group, which, yeah, ridiculous. This has been the only constant.
What?
Hi.
Oh, us.
Yeah.
Well,
We've even added an addition. And on weekends, we get 3 more. How incredible is that? It's like we have kids, but you didn't have to go through labor. It's precious. No, it's not.
no, it's not.
I'm fucking kidding.
I wanted kids, I would have had them all.
Already? What would you have on like 18?
Have you seen some of the people around these days?
I do. I have eyes, and I'm one of them. Hi.
Can you knew people in freaking middle school that had like 2-year-olds?
Middle school?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a far cry from whenever. So my mother used to work as a nurse at the middle school. If there was a pregnancy scare, that was news. All right, well, anyway, I'm getting completely and totally off base here. Warped Tours 2002 and 3 were prime. I agree with that, Bolton. That was a good golden age. But the Rock and Roll Corner mentions the Foo Fighters. Who has seen the video of the Foo Fighters rickrolling the Westboro Baptist Church? Because that was funny as fuck. That was awesome. So let's talk about the big releases, the big news, and another the last words, another marathon. What the hell does that mean? We're going to talk about that. First of all, I want to thank all of you who within the past month and a half to 2 months have sort of stuck behind me during my educational endeavors, because I was going to get a little certification for a new job, a new position that I have. So I am no longer the jobless wonder of here. But I'm not getting into that. But let's. So it's been a journey. So I have tried to do my best with as many of the videos that I needed to do as I could. And if I have forgotten some or not gotten to some, I know that I haven't with a couple. In fact, I have a list over here somewhere in the realm of things that are falling now. Like, I know that this past week I did not get to Spock's Beard, which I do have in my possession, and I didn't get the Butcher Babies, which I don't have in my possession. So Spock's Beard, I don't know if I'm going to talk about, quite honestly, even though it's probably going to be really, really good. It might be something that I may try to keep a bit of a log of those that I miss, because I'm still going to end up listening to it, and then I might make just a large video where I talk about maybe like leftovers. Like if there's 10 that I missed from the past month or something like that, I might just do something like that. Somebody has that Butcher Babies album. I regret to inform you that I do kind of want it, because I hear that the song that they premiered 2 months ago was pretty fucking terrible, and I hear that this album is pretty fucking worse. So I kind of want to know, and I know that a lot of you would like to hear some rage out of my mouth. That isn't speaking about my ex-girlfriend. So if anybody has a link or anything to that, that's one that I'm a-okay with pirating, quite frankly, because that would be for the greater good of you guys. Unless it got pushed back, I don't know. But but as for this week, the ones that I'm hoping to get to, and I have a little conflict actually because of some information that I received from somebody. So maybe somebody can confirm. I can actually check off Ahab, because I have Ahab in my possession. I have Nile in my possession. Those will probably be the ones that are handled first, maybe, unless I get one of these other ones a little bit quicker, which is Motorhead, Soilwork, and Beach House. I'm very interested in this Beach House album. I had their last album and loved it to death. Love Bloom just to fucking death. And I want to talk about this one. I think it's called like Cherry Dream or something like that. I really don't remember off the top of my skull. Where I'm having the conflict is whenever I made this list, which is rough and was done on the back of a therapy schedule, Five Finger Death Punch 28th was what was marked on the website that I used. But now I'm hearing that it's the same week as Iron Maiden. True or false? Somebody help me out here. Oh, Act of Defiance. Son of a bitch. I forgot that too. Son of a fucking bitch. I'm going to try to get to that. I'm going to write that down. I may have some time later on this evening, like way late this evening, probably overnight, because I do still have to do some reading with the job-related stuff, but I passed the test. And that's actually, I hope you're still here, Fulton, because that is what I wanted to mention. The test has been passed. Everything has been good. I still have some reading and shit to do, but we can probably go forward with our plans in the coming future. I know that you're working quite a bit now, so it's something where we can kind of just slow burn it a little bit. You know, we'll just slow burn that a little bit, and I think we'll have something that's pretty special for these folks whenever it happens, because that's the things that we've talked about, and I'm trying to purposely not spoil anything, but the things that we've talked about don't necessarily have a timetable on them. They're not time sensitive. So we can kind of experiment with that even if we need to. There is a playlist of the whole album of Butcher Babies in the Century Records YouTube channel. Oh, how nice of them. What a bunch of a-holes. So it is the 4th of September for the Five Finger Death Punch album. Okay, well, I'm still going to kind of function as though it's coming out on the 28th, because I have a feeling that's going to be one that's going to be streamed early. I have a feeling that's going to be streamed early, and I'm cool with doing streams and reviewing streams, considering the band is the one that is dropping the streams for people to listen to. You know, and now that Butcher Babies thing I know is streaming over at their official record label thingamabob or whatever the fuck it is, I feel a little bit better about what I said before. I still don't have to pirate shit, which is great. I hate pirating. I'm happy for you, Fulton, because seeing you working all those hours and stuff like that means that you have a little bit more money and a little bit more happiness. And just hopefully this winter you won't have to shovel as damn much as you did last year. Because I know that you guys got it fucking rough, man. Down here, see, we didn't have much. You know, all those storms ended up not being as heavy duty as it was slated to be, except for like 1 or 2. So, yeah. Hopefully it's a little bit better this year. So the 4th, now I can actually transition Five Finger Death Punch over there, which I will do. Which adds me to Amorphous, Iron Maiden, Riverside, and Leaves Eyes. That's a pretty good 5-some right there. That's a pretty handy 5-some. People know me on Twitter. Why do they know me on Twitter? It's not even for me. That's bullshit. It's for Psychedelic Eyeball. He's awesome. So that's the big news. The big news is the fact that the education side is still going on a little bit, but it's all stuff through the company as opposed to the official state-mandated blah, 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 where I essentially had to like destroy my brain and sacrifice sleep and be a big, gigantic, anxious, you know, anxiety-driven wreck for a month and a half, no doubt, laying waste all around me. So I saw somebody mention that there is a new Kylesa album coming out. Here's something that's really kind of funny about that. That album is coming out the same week as the new Death Heaven. Now, just think about what the last Kylesa album was all about, what I believe it was Ultraviolet was all about. And think about what you heard from the new Death Heaven record this past Monday. There's a video of that you should check out. if you haven't already. And think about what this is going to spell for, I think it's October the 2nd. That's something just absolutely crazy. It's wild to think about what that week is going to really entail. Now, speaking of the videos, I want to pop over to my video manager real quick, and I want to speak about something very, very briefly before we get into the last part of that of the title of the stream. Yeah, YouTube kind of shit the bed this week. For those of you who maybe were following along at home, if you're wondering why I'm not answering a lot of comments on YouTube, it's because I'm not getting any indication that any exist, which is kind of weird. I think they just started to finally get some of that squared away, but it's still, by and large, not showing up until far after. Like right now, any video that I did yesterday, so the Rivers of Nile or the Devil Wears Prada Space EP, showed no comments for me. And I know that there's comments because I've been on both of those videos. Also, earlier this week, apparently I lost all of you as subscribers, like each and every one of you. And yeah, it's just weird. There's a lot of things that have been going on that I've not been too keen about with that. So obviously there's no other option. I'm not quitting. I'm not stopping. But there's a lot of frustration going around YouTube right now based around some of these problems that are happening. Distribution, I don't know how distribution has been for you guys. I don't know if the distribution has been better or worse. I've noticed that Facebook is getting a little bit better whenever it comes to distribution. It just takes some time. Like if you expect instant distribution, it doesn't happen. Like I think the stream announcement for this stream was probably one that did, it was about average, but it did better than the last few. And I know that a lot of you are probably still, I mean, there's not many in here, but this is kind of getting to be about typical. I think the first stream will always have the most people in history for right now, at least for right now. So they're getting a little bit better with that. How do you get the live stream to work? I tried it and it keeps screwing up. Dylan, I know that you have to have the capability. I think they have to give you the capability, and whenever you do, you have to have a camera that works or functions and a microphone that functions. But even then, it's a little bit wonky to try to set up. Like if you notice, my stream has a bit of a different sound than the regular videos. That's something I've still not been able to figure out how I can fix, because the acoustics of the room obviously haven't changed. You know, the room is still the same size with the same stuff in it. I don't change locations for these. It just really, I guess, depends on what's being picked up. And obviously there's probably some gear that I could get to kind of help that out. So someone's mentioning the Rush discography, which has been on hiatus for quite some time. That will probably have to be on the back burner for a little bit, considering we have so much that's coming out. Of course, the CKN's favorite albums series has been on the back burner for a while, and that's going to continue for a little bit. We just did the 10th episode of 10 Awesome Songs. I wanted to get that out of the way because we'll probably have to put that on the back burner for a short spell also. For right now, those three series are going to have to function sort of like gap fillers on days where I don't have anything else planned. So that's unfortunate, but right now we are in probably one of the busiest stretches that I have seen in the 5 years that I've been doing this, or 6 years, however long it's been. I have not seen such a large swath of releases come out just on a weekly basis, in quite some time. And also, it probably does not help that nowadays there are a lot more bands that I'm willing to talk about. So that probably doesn't help either. Whatever. So, that is an owl lamp. Owls are awesome. So, big releases, big news, another marathon. What could that mean? What could that possibly mean? Why are you looking at me? Hi.
It's really creepy stuff.
Is it creepy?
Yes.
How's that better or worse?
I'm going to kick you.
I stopped. Look, I don't kick you out.
I made you come. I'm going to kick you, so I did.
No, you never said the word promise.
That's a promise.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
In order to make a promise, you must say, I promise.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Pick drop dead friend.
Whoever taught you that is whack. You have to say the word. You have to pinky swear.
Oh, yeah, right. Tell somebody you're going to do something, you better freaking do it.
So, big releases, big news, another marathon. The big releases, obviously, we are in the middle of them. And we will talk about some more that I want to talk about shortly. The big news, of course, is the fact that the education deal is done for the official shit. There's some company shit that is still needs to be completed. There's a lot of reading to do, but the stress is now gone. CKN, do you like Dream Theater? That is an insult. Absolutely love that band. They're phenomenal. It's not actually an insult. You just didn't know. I just feel like being an asshole every so often. It's kind of just how I am. Probably why I have no friends. So another marathon. Those last two words probably have a lot of people wondering what the hell is going on. It has me wondering what the hell is going on in some ways, shapes, and forms as well, considering the fact that I'm considering some of this stuff it's kind of hysterical. But I have kind of two ideas that I've been kicking around in my head for a little bit. And it's the reason why I don't want to put the Rush discography on hiatus all that much. Like, I really don't want to, but I kind of have no choice. And it's something where once that ends, I will probably rapid fire those albums to get them out of the way and done. That way we don't go a full year like we did with Alice in Chains before we finish up the Rush discography, because we still have a long way to go. I think we are only up to A Farewell to Kings, as I think as far as we got. So we still have a long way to go. That's only 5 albums in, I think. So I think we still have 15. We have a long ways to go. But the another marathon speaks largely about something that I talked about a while back, whenever we were talking about the winners of the Music Madness and different things that were going to happen, different things that were going on. And one of the things that was talked about and rumored to happen was that Slayer was going to get a discography review prior to the release of Repentless. Of course, during the 24 hours of Cover Killer Nation, we did a review, or I did a review rather. You guys watched the review of my favorite Slayer album, which is not Rain and Blood, which is Show No Mercy. So we did do that. You could have walked through here. Hannibal will not eat you. He's in prison now. He can't hurt you anymore. I hope you didn't hear that. But anyway, we were talking about the Slayer discography. So the marathon may actually be one of two things. I have considered doing 24 hours of Slayer, which would be essentially not me sitting in front of a computer or being in this room and doing nothing but Slayer albums. But it would be that I would pre-record this stuff and I would post and I would post the videos for the entire discography over the course of a 24-hour period. That would kind of be what I'm ideally thinking about doing here. Which is a great way to kind of take care of a discography very, very quickly, but at the same time, I know that with Avenged Sevenfold, at least, I had to do it within a weekend. I was originally going to do a discography in a day, and that was only 5 albums, and it ended up taking me the whole entire weekend. So, again, these would be pre-recorded and would just be released all during the same day to make it a little bit easier on my poor soul, because that's a lot of fucking Slayer to deal with. And I also want to do a 5 reasons why people love or hate Slayer, because I have an idea for the love part, which will take probably about 15 seconds, and then I can spend the remainder of the video talking about why people hate them. I'm not spoiling my great idea either, because I'll tell you why. Those dickhead Slayer fans that nobody likes, they're going to get really, really, really excited during those 15 seconds. And then for the remainder of the video, they are going to start sharpening their sharp implements. They're going to start reloading and cocking their guns. I'm hoping that somebody by the end of that video says, "You dickhole, I'm typing this on a new computer because I shot my old one. You're dead." Now, I don't actually hope that. But it's going to be interesting, considering I'm going to spend a whole hell of a lot more time on why people hate them. But that was the first idea that I had, was basically doing the discography in 24 hours, posting the stuff, which would, I think, come down to about 1 album every 2 hours would go up. So I think they're at 12, I want to say. Now I'm going to have to look at that. I'm going to have to look at that real fast. So I'm very interested in what the breakdown would be for that, as far as that is concerned. Where are you, discography? Oh, shit, they do it this way. That's bollocks. In reality, I started the discography with Show No Mercy, so I just, number 1 is done. People would probably want me to do Haunting the Chapel. I probably wouldn't. It's only 4 tracks, so that's kind of unnecessary. So we have, we're going to talk about Show No, or not, we're going to count Show No Mercy just for my brain's sake. So Show No Mercy, we have Hell Awaits, we have Rain and Blood, South of Heaven, Seasons in the Abyss. We're not going to talk about the Decade of Aggression, that's live. Divine Intervention. I will talk about Undisputed Attitude. I will talk about Dia Wellis and Musica, even though I did that quite a while ago. God Hates Us All, Christ Illusion, World Painted Blood. This will be their 12th album. Repentless will be their 12th. So basically, during that day, considering I've already done Show No Mercy, there would be 10 reviews, all with Slayer, during one day, which comes out to about a new review coming up every 2 hours and 30 minutes. Every 2.5 hours, there'd be a brand new one, which is pretty obnoxious, pretty ridiculous. It's pretty crazy, but Slayer fans are fucking nuts, so got to keep up with the Joneses, I guess. That was just one idea that I had. So for the 41 of you that are watching right now, it may be more by the time you hear this, considering there's a delay, and that's fun. After the video, or after the stream is done, which will be nearly instantaneous. So it's nearly instantaneous that it's available. I want you to comment Oh, I just popped right back up. How about that? Oh, shit. You fucking piece of garbage. Is this working? Is this not working? Can you see me? Am I alive? There I am. Okay. Well, I am seen again. Huzzah. Well, that was retarded. I'm going to give a piece of advice to a lot of you before we get started, or continue with what we're doing. If you live in an area that has a company called Atlantic Broadband, don't get them. They suck. So yeah, we were talking about the whole Slayer thing, whatever. If you were made fun of me, that's fine. I don't care. You can make fun of me all you want. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Oh my God. Which were those? Rise of the Messiah. No. No. I did not die. I was not in a tomb for 3 days. I was offline for like 3 minutes. Big difference. Kind of important. So yeah. My thought process, I'm not sure whenever I got cut off, is that I would have to do or release 10 reviews in a 24-hour period, one about every 2.5 hours, which is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of insane. It really doesn't make much sense in order to do that, but it would be better to dedicate an entire day to that as opposed to try to stretch it out over a week, considering there's other releases and other things that we need to talk about during that time frame. So obviously, my thought process is just to do something either like that or to maybe take a Saturday and Sunday and do that. Or, well, I guess it wouldn't have to be a Saturday or a Sunday because, goddamn, they changed up the release date on me. That's freaking ridiculous. It's like I can't get set up for this stuff anymore. It is what it is, though. I mean, that's just going to be a nutso week anyhow. It's going to be a really nutso week. Because that comes out in on the 11th, I think. 9/11, that's right. They're trying to be edgy again. Too edgy for you, Slayer. That's what's up. Too edgy for you, Slayer. What else is coming out on the 11th? I don't have notes for that yet. Let's talk about this. Let's make sure that I can see shit, because seeing is believing. Oh, Bring Me the Horizons. That the Spirit. That's the Spirit comes out on the 11th. So freaking. Actually, I'm kind of interested in that, considering the 2 songs that they posted have been interesting. They've not been awful. The new Stradivarius album comes out on the 11th. And that's about it. Whenever it comes to things of large importance. I mean, there's a new Tarja album, or Tarja, whatever. That's about it. So actually, this might be doable. This might be doable, where maybe what I do is obviously post the new Slayer album whenever I can, whenever that comes out, and then just do the remainder of the discography as kind of a bonus and advertise for that, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking that what will happen with that is that it will be done over the course of either 24 hours or it will be something that's done over the course of a weekend. Will I listen to the new Bon Jovi album? No, because I'm afraid that I will give love a bad name. So, yeah, can't do that. They just released a new song. They are Bring Me the Horizon. Well, 2 songs I think is my limit. I'm learning my lesson from that Lamb of God. That was ridiculous. I'm learning a lot of things about talking about singles and songs and shit like that. I think my goal now is going to be try to hit the initial singles, the first ones that are released by some of these bands, and then that's it. And then wait for the album. because it's getting to the point actually where people are now starting to expect me to talk about every song that premieres, and I can't do that. You know, there's other stuff that I need to do, and it's another reason why we get behind on some of these series is because there's such demand for that, and then the demand actually doesn't translate very well. It really doesn't. You know, I do have to kind of look at this a little bit from a realistic perspective, as well as what some people might call a business perspective. But I know that your time and my time both are extremely important to the both of us. So the only other idea that I had, as I thought about maybe, now the new Nile isn't out, Adam. It's this Friday. Is I asked you guys whether or not I should update the Iron Maiden discography review in time for Book of Souls to come out. And a lot of you said that that the original videos were fine. They might have just needed a fresh update, like an updated perspective. So I might do just that. I'm not going to talk about, we're not talking about 15 brand new videos. Hells to the no. Because we're already thinking about doing this crap with Slayer. And so that is a bit out of the question. It was going to have to be one or the other. And I've already done Iron Maiden, so got to go with the one that has never been done before, you know. Because we've only reviewed the Metallica, you know, a couple of Metallica albums 3 times. But I'm thinking maybe to do a fresh perspective like that, maybe do it all in one album. And I think what it'll end up being, it'll probably end up being a ranked, maybe like a ranked video for the albums from my favorite to my least favorite. And it will offer some perspective. And then I will, of course, leave a link in there to all of the videos that were done back in 2010 as the Final Frontier was coming out. Weirdly enough, I'm going to have to sit down and think about that, because I love the Final Frontier whenever it dropped. But if you ask me how many times I listened to that album in the past, say 2 or 3 years, I could probably count it on one hand. It was a really, really solid album whenever it dropped, but I don't think that its it factor really lasted. You know, I really don't think that that's an it factor that lasted. It did. But so I think I'm going to plan to do something like that. I talked about doing the top 20 or 25 Maiden songs. As of right now, that's not looking like it's going to happen, because if it was going to happen, I would have done it already. And we're getting a little Maiden crazy. Anyway. So, of course, the only other option that was out there, which is, of course, going to be the one that each and every one of you 35 wonderful people want, would be obviously just doing a brand new 24 hours. And I really don't want to do that, because it's ridiculous. Thought about it as celebration for getting past these educational endeavors. Thought about it. And then I got home from passing the test and fell asleep for 5 hours. So, yeah. Imagine if Opeth did a Damnation 2. They could easily do that. Some people, and that's why why people being so pissed off about Heritage and Pale Communion just irritate me, because they all love Damnation. It's because of the atmosphere, it's all depressing, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck. It's same goddamn shit, same idea. Mike's not growling on Damnation, but everybody's just jacking off their penis to it, but whatever. But anyway, I have done a video that talks about some of the best of this year. It was mainly the best of the first half of the year. I think I released it around June. It was called the top 10 best albums of this year so far, something around those, along those lines. And someone asking if I have ever considered getting a PO box. I haven't. I thought about it because I know that you guys want to send me stuff and be really interactive, and it'd be really cool, and I should do that. I don't know if that costs money to have the P.O. box and stuff like that. That's been something that's been in short supply. The cash that I have gotten and the cash that I have been earning over the past couple of months has been very, very necessary for existence. Do I think that System of a Down will release a new album someday? Yes, that has been somewhat, I don't want to say confirmed, but it has been speculated on. I think it'll happen. I think it will happen. The CDs that you see on the rack behind you are not mine, actually. They belong to it over here.
Huh?
Your CDs on the rack right there.
Oh, yeah.
You people are wondering what they are. I will tell you what they are.
Boingo, boingo.
I'm going to have to read things. We have Fables of the Reconstruction by R.E.M., Hail by Toad the Wet Sprocket, the self-titled debut album of The Virgins, Pete Townshend's Psychodelict, the Train Spotting soundtrack, Rural Youth by Elvis Costello, The X-Files, the album, Megadeth's Euthanasia, and Only a Lad by Oingo Boingo. Boingo, 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 boingo. So I'm going to look hysterically at myself as I struggle to twist and turn to read all of those, considering the delay is fun. But I know all of you are going to want me to do another 24 hours. I really kind of don't want to do another 24 hours, but you know what? It may be something that ends up happening. Just simply because I might just get into a mood one day and just decide to I'm really enjoying posting multiple videos a day on some days. I know it's a lot to try to promote and everything like that. I really could use some people's help with promoting and stuff like that. If some of you guys know or have major networking pluses, man, that would be just killer. Because I'd love to get this stuff to more people. It's always been my goal and always been my hope. And I'm waiting for that fucking Watch Mojo video. What the fuck is taking their stupid asses so long? I thought they put like 5 or 6 top 10 videos out every freaking day, and they're taking 2 months on YouTube album reviewers. Come on, it isn't that hard. Well, okay, maybe it is. Maybe finding like numbers 6 through 10 is impossible. It's like The Needle Drop, me, A Dose of Buckley, Fulton Reviews. Okay, there's Runner JMA, so that's 5. Duncan, there's Sean, Count Blagareth. So now we have 6. There are other people that are out there. I'm sure that I just insulted a bunch of you. I apologize. But yeah.
Somebody likes R.E.M.
Of course.
Not this, which is me.
I feel like The Rock. Whenever The Rock would get all serious, he would take his sunglasses off.
I am aware.
Oh.
Tasty, go.
Yeah, I can't do that. My eyebrows don't cooperate.
I can only do it on the one side.
But what I can say is, who? That sounded awful. Who is this Rudy Poo?
Would you seriously say that?
Yeah.
Who's Rudy Poo?
No, Rudy Poo was like an insult.
I don't know. He's Samoan.
Originally, I thought that he said Poochie Poo, which is really weird. CKN, what is the meaning of your name? Coverkillernation? Oh, this is a fun story. I like this story. It's really, really stupid and easy. So, 2009, like 6 years ago, some of you were younger. Actually, all of you were. So was I. The original plan was for the channel to be covers of songs. And I was a bit of a pessimist in regards to my abilities. What are you doing? I saw his eyes for the first time and went blind. I am not Jesus the fuck Christ.
Jesus the fuck Christ.
Yes, it's Jesus D Christ, D fuck or da fuck, D-A-F-U-F-U. Bleh. Anyway,
F-U-Q.
F-U-Q. Yeah, that. The fuck is that? Radical. The fuck is that? How many here? How many of you came here because of Morbid Angel? But anyway, it was supposed to be a. Get me off track. You get me off track. You're a horrible sidekick.
You have lots of fun, though.
You're a horrible sidekick.
Yeah. I'm no Robin. I don't say, holy rusted metal, Batman.
Yeah, you're right. If you'd have done that, I'd have drowned you. Like a little puppy. No, that's wrong.
And then I would have come back from the dead and haunted your ass.
I wouldn't have buried you in a pet cemetery.
Still would have haunted your ass.
I was taught better by the music.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you always told me that you didn't want to be buried in a pet cemetery.
No, the Ramones told you that.
Yeah, but then you sang it, which means that you told me as well.
When did I sing that?
Whenever we were listening to the Ramones CD going down to, or I guess we up to New Jersey. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway, we're getting back on topic now. I don't know. Originally, it was meant to be a covers type thing. Cover Killer is, of course, an album of covers that was done by Overkill. Seemed like a really good name. And actually, whenever the channel got started, it was just Cover Killer. And then for a year, it was that. And then I had a bad habit of posting actual music. And I did that primarily because the songs and stuff were available. And I had some software that I thought I could be really, really clever and cute with. And so I got a couple strikes on the channel. And then whenever Ronnie James Dio passed away, I made a tribute video that had, I think, Holy Diver playing very, very softly in the background, which YouTube has ears that are better than animals. They make dog whistles sound loud and can hear them conceivably, easily, with ease. So that was my third strike. I'm sure that Ronnie James Dio decided to punt YouTube for doing that because at that point in time I had less than 1,000 subscribers. The channel wasn't going too far. There was a rabid following though, and now look at us now. Look at us now. Cover Killer Nation was already an idea that was being used in some of those videos within the first half of 2010. It was already an idea that had been established. I don't know why that really came about. I think I just randomly said it. You know, everybody has their fan base. You know, everybody has what they call their fans. You know, so it was kind of easy. It was easy just to say that you are my nation and I am the cover killer. And it kind of flowed off the tongue very nicely. But that's about it. That's it. Cover Killer Nation became the name of the second channel because it was just easy. It made sense, you know. Why did I switch from Porcupine Theater? I wanted to, whenever I was going to do the covers idea, I wanted to keep that individual and separate. And then that didn't work out because YouTube has dog whistle ears, blah, blah, blah. And unless you're covering some shitty song by some idiotic artist like Justin Bieber, where you don't even know that you're being fucked by whatever record label he's on out of all of your monetization funds. And of course, Bieber and shit tweets that garbage out because not only does he like to hear himself, but he likes to hear other people hear himself. Something like that. I was going to do actual, you know, music. It wasn't going to necessarily be a lot of metal, to be perfectly honest. In fact, the first song I tried to upload was Without You, I'm Nothing by Placebo. Great song. There's a version of that features David Bowie. I was going for, I think, the original version because it was just a solo performance. There was not a second person in there to play the role of David Bowie. And I don't know David Bowie, so I can't be like, hey, David Bowie, would you like to come and play the role of David Bowie in Without You, I'm Nothing, where I am the dude from Placebo? And he'd probably be like, Who the fuck are you?
It's the voice is higher than yours. Oh.
There's something up there.
Shut up.
That's what you get for being critiquing Kate.
I knew David Bowie.
You know David Bowie.
I wish.
I was just about to say you don't know David Bowie.
I know his voice.
Well, so do I. I've heard the music.
Uh-huh.
I've listened to the music. I did as the Doobie Brothers commanded.
Whoa, whoa.
Cradle of Filth discography review. I just found a shirt that I have of theirs. As for discography review, doubt it. We are the nation of domination. Nice 90s attitude era wrestling reference. Yes, my idea was to, it was not to review covers, it was to perform covers, actually. It was to perform them as opposed to review them. Which is interesting considering I have seldom broken into song on this channel, and it has mainly been in a very terrible impression of James Hetfield singing other songs, like not even singing Metallica songs. I think I'm better suited at voices than I am singing anymore. I'm out of practice, for one, and for two, Cover Killer would have had a double meaning, considering I probably would have butchered a lot. There would probably been a lot of hate to that. There would probably been a lot of hate for that. I probably would have zero respect. People would probably tell me to, stop doing things. Recording, singing, breathing. It's kind of like this channel, only they can't say stop singing because I don't sing.
Well, you do the normal man.
Someone wanted me to actually make a video of CKN reacts to Axl Rose and Slash being friends again. If you're in this stream, thank you for the suggestion. I'll give you the reason why I am not going to do that. And it's going to sound harsh. I just don't care. Slash and Axl Rose are friends again. Whoopee. To be perfectly honest, if Slash has any intelligence whatsoever, and I think that he does, I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, he'll stick with what he's doing. Because his solo work it might not have done 1 million copies sold like Chinese Democracy did. Because I think that did hit the 1 million copy mark. But his shit doesn't get returned like Chinese Democracy does. And they were going to be vocal covers. It was going to be all vocal. So, and Axl, but basically, if Slash and Axl got back together, we would still have to wait the same amount of time for a new album from Guns N' Roses. That wouldn't change. If anything, it might become longer. If anything, it might become longer. Listen, if you're a Guns N' Roses fan, that's A-okay. That's spiffy diffy. I don't give two shits. That's wonderful. I thought that Appetite for Destruction was a pretty good disc. The Use Your Illusions had some good songs on them, but they were inconsistent as all fucking get out. We didn't need 2 of them, that's for fucking sure. And Chinese Democracy was just a walking bag of ass. Walking pile of cow dick that had probably about 3 or 4 acceptable songs on it, but suffered from the fact that it was just too many tracks, it was too long, and it was probably about 6 or 7 years too late. The people that say that they like Chinese Democracy, there are 2 types of people that say that. The first one are the people that are legit about it. They like Chinese Democracy because they thought the music was really, really good. Then there's the other idiots that will say that they like Chinese Democracy because it's Guns N' Roses and Axl Rose is an angel and he saved my life and he's coming over tomorrow to take care of my children and he's going to go cure cancer and feed a bunch of starving kids over in Africa. I love him so much. I wish to God I could suck his dick every 3rd Friday and 2nd Monday and hopefully conceive his Axl baby. He came over and changed the oil in my car, and whenever my son's bike got trapped in some rocks down at the river. He sacrificed his time and his life because there were alligators down there and snapping turtles and gigantic pixie sticks that came alive and just started to terrorize my town. And Axl Rose donned the cape and became Super Axl and went and destroyed the crocodiles and stepped on the snapping turtles because he thought he was fucking Super Mario, and then ate the pixie sticks even though they were dangerous. And everyone thought, Axl, you're going to die. Why are you doing this? And he says, that's okay, fair citizen. I'm doing this for this young man and his bike. And then he saved the bike, and now Axl Rose is fat. It's because of the pixie sticks. So you kind of get my point. You kind of get my point. Yes, that album. No, These Nuts are actually better than Chinese Democracy. Chinese Democracy is an album that has one song. It was track 2, Better, which wasn't even like the best song I've ever heard, but Buckethead had a damn good solo on it. There's one song that you want to listen to over and over again. The rest of it, fucking flush it down the toilet. Axl Rose is done. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will bring this whole thing full circle. In the comments below, whenever this video goes live, this is the part that got cut off, I think, by the stream dying thanks to my internet. I want you to just do one quick thing and state whether or not you would like to see the entire Slayer discography done in 24 hours. So that would be 10 videos in 24 hours, or if you'd rather have it done in a weekend. So 48 hours. So 24 hours or 48 hours for the Slayer discography. I will take that into account. And I know that we were talking about some bigger releases. Put a couple of those in the comments as well. I have some in mind that I'm going to be doing already, and if one of yours isn't one of them, I apologize. Can't get to everything. For a second there, I thought that Steven Wilson was releasing another album this year, but that's Seven Witches, which is probably going to be pretty good too. Not going to lie. Seven Witches is a pretty decent band. But let me know of what you're thinking. You already reviewed the new Maiden album, Double O Jets. Holy shit. Did you get a promo copy? I need to see this. Did you get a promo copy, Double O Jets? Or are you listening to that band that everyone thinks is Iron Maiden but isn't? Metal Militia, the Rush discography is just on a little hiatus at the moment. I do complete discography reviews in one 15-minute vid. I so rule. That's crazy. That's way too much. Complete discographies in 15 minutes. Jesus fucking Christ, you're a madman. What do? Say, holy crap, this is awesome. This album was balls. This has 2 great songs on it. I'm assuming that you're doing the Frank Zappa discography in 15 minutes. It's nuts. Anyway. Wow. Whew. So yeah, the marathon that we're thinking about, another marathon is for the Slayer deal. I know that you guys will probably want me to do another 24 hours of CKN, which is something that will happen in the future. I don't think it will happen again this year, but it might. I'm not going to rule anything out because, like I said, I just might get the itch, and maybe it'll be 12 hours instead, you know, where I just post a lot of shit in one day for no reason and let you know that I'm watching myself be a retard. But that's about all I have. Top 3 Death albums. Watch the discography review. It's pretty awesome. I can't think of anything else to say. I think I'm done here. Thanks to everybody for coming out. For those of you who maybe just came in and are disappointed at the fact that we're leaving, the entire stream will be available on YouTube very, very shortly. For those of you who have been here this whole entire time, I thank you for sticking it out. Watch the stream again and leave some comments in the comment box below. whenever that goes live and all that shit. Oh, Get Metal. I have difficulty with the downloads on that, and plus I don't really do leaks. Like I said, all that much. I do mainly streams and stuff like that. The top 3 Death albums: it's Symbolic, Sound of Perseverance, and oh shit, Individual Thought Patterns. Those 3. Did I scrap the what if idea before I go, Son of Chewy? No, I have not. It's in the processing and the kind of development stage right now as to how I want to do that. But all right, I'm out of here. Thanks again for being here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll probably do another one sometime next weekend. All right, I'm out. Peace.